So today I would like to talk a little about good functionality is not enough and what that's mean. We have a good functionality also, why it's not enough. But before I will start, of course, few words. Thank you the sponsors, Bonner. I hope I pronounce it well, and others. For this conference and meeting. Remember that you can win the prizes. Go and visit virtual bar and be present at the end of the conference also, and register there, and then you can win really nice prizes. And I heard some of them will be pink. And also, I want to mention that you will not see so much pink as on the previous presentation, so that will be balance from my side. A few words about me. You see me, that's why you don't have a picture of me on this slide, but that's picture from my office. I really like it, so unfortunately now I cannot be in the office. Normally I am, but yes, that's everyday view which I see. About me, I'm working as a team leader at Dynaway AS, which is a part of EG, which is part of the Francisco Partners. And EG is a Danish corporation, IT corporation. And Dynaway is I think well known in BC more and more, but also in finance and operation world. So you may know a few functionalities from us. I have over 10 years of experience doing implementation of NAV and Business Central, and I visit over 15 countries across the EMEA region and also Greenland, and were able to implement the system there as a consultant, as a partner, and also as the end user. So so multiple roles. At the bottom, you have a few information where you can find me. One is my blog, my NAV blog. Still an old name, so but yes, and we have also a hackathon in November. So if someone would like to join, I recommend you to go to the second website. And we have also meetings which is called BC Beginners, and we have them almost every 2 weeks, and we have a lot of people there talking about Business Central. So if you will be interested, you are very welcome to join there as well. All right, and I said that good functionality is not enough. So one message which I would like to give you today is that way of development of Business Central has changed, or should be changed, because some let's say companies or partners are still doing this change. But if we will see a little of history, is that we had Navision all the days, and that's this one at the top, and we didn't need to care about user experience there. We just added the function, and it was on the page. And to be honest, everyone was thinking about the functionality. Okay, that's the most important thing, and just adding it somewhere, and it's working. Then we switched to the newer version, which this is from version 5, and Navision, and that also we didn't need to think about the user experience, and we only thought, okay, where to put the proper function and or field on the page. For example, posting date was always on the right side on the top of the page. But nothing more. We didn't have any control. We didn't have anything which we basically can like say give users more than they expect. Then version 2009 came, and Now, for example, we had actions and we needed to choose which image we should use for the user. Or we had these really nice queues, which says how many documents we had and so on. So it was more, but to be honest, not a lot of people were really engaged to that and doing this. That's why we still have so many old installations, even this one still on the market. And then Business Central came, and the message here is think about user experience. So not only about how the functionality works, but also about how it's look, and that's even more. And this is on this slide. So are we a front developers? I think not yet, but we are going in that direction little, right? So we don't need we need to think about much more to give the value to the users, right? And I hope that's not only on Business Central side, but whole Dynamics, I would say. So what are the such points here? So first, the functionality need to be findable, right? So users don't need to look on where it is and how it's named and so on. He or she just need to find it quite easy to be able to use it. Usable, that's of course very important part for me. In few words, it just must work, right? So the development for this functionality must be very well, right? And I hope that's something which we focus for years, and we just doing it quite well here. Useful. That's when I was a young developer, I had a very good project manager, and he always was asking, why you need this functionality, right? So we always should ask our users or people who will be using this, because it's not always our users, but all users, if this function is useful, why they want it? Because it may happen that they will want something totally different, and I will try to give you an example. Desirable. If you are the independent software vendor, that's also very important. The users just need to want your functionality. On the market, there's more and more applications and more functions, and why I should use your functionality, right? So that's also something which you need to think when you are doing a development. You're thinking about your functionality, right? It's not only develop, but also from the consultant point of view. Credible. So people which are using the functionality must understand why we did something this way, right? So why, and we should know why it was developed this way, and why in this way it will help them. And I left it for the last one, is follow the standard. When I was preparing to this, most of those things I just a little hijacked or based on this link which you can find below, but this one is particular for Business Central, but also for another ERP solutions. If we are doing first I wrote integrated with, so it wasn't good word, because in fact we should do the same way as we are doing the standard. So I will try to show you how it is possible and how you can achieve that. Also would like to say that the examples here are from our system which we developed, right? I wanted to show you something on real cases, so please also have that on mind. And I should be very honest with you here. Sometimes I forgot about those things, and my product owner is always helping me to find to back to this track. But when I was the end user, it was easier to think about those things than when I'm developer. It's the same story as we have with the bikers and car drivers. So if you are a bike driver, you hate the car drivers, and vice versa. So that's the same with developers and users a little, because as a developers we don't think about all this which brings gives us the value, and when we are users we think about everything and less even about the functionality. So that's why I'm saying you should see your functionality from the user's perspective. Try when you are doing, and now I'm talking to developers, but also it's easier for the consultants, but for developers this message that try to think how you will be using that. And sometimes I'm even when I'm doing the development, or I'm trying to the fight is wrong word with the tester to explain him something. I'm trying to give the examples from real world, not even related to the product, but normally, right? Even from the grocery store or something, if it's valid. So just to give the perspective how users will use this functionality. All right. First thing which I would like to show you in the system and how it can help you is something which in Business Central. I don't know if all those who listen that know Business Central. There is something which is, if except Tomasz, if someone else who doesn't know, please write in chat, so I will little adjust what I'm saying. But role center is and profiles are quite important. That's the first view which users see, right? So that's something which when you open the system, it's for them, it's the first thing which they will see, and it's nice that they will see it as not only bunch of functionalities, but something which bring them to good place and to proper place, that they feel okay, we are in the system. And also you should put you should create profiles which have the functionalities for the proper user. I will try to show you that in a system. Hopefully I will be able. So yeah, I will just refresh here. First, I would like to show you this view, because I have two. And I just need to choose the proper user. So basically, you can see a lot of things are going on here, right? Because that's the profile which a manager is using, right? So he just need to have those all things, right? He need to have information about the setup. He need to have information about everything what we are doing in the system. I will not go in the details, but as you can see, he has a lot of things. He has a charts which says him some data if something is broken or so, right? Also, there is something which we called in NAV headlines, and as you can see, it's going forward something from standard, which it's nice to say to someone, good afternoon. If you will just use the standard role center, you will also see that. You will also see your name on the screen. I cannot show you that, but it will say good afternoon, Krzysztof. And all other things here, right? So when going again a little further, you see it as a standard Business Central. It's looking the same way, and that's something which we all I've seen a lot of add-ons which are just missing that, or functionalities we don't think it's really important, but that's first thing which users see when they open the system. And why I said the roles, because as I said, this is manager. He sees a lot of things, but that's the same system But from the other point of view, it's for the technician. So technician doesn't need to see all of that which you seen on the on that screen first, right? He just need to see what I need to do today, right? Or what I did last week. That's for him is important. So that's something which we need to think as our users, right? Think how they will see the system. So and also what I said is profiles. Profiles, which means menu. We had menus in the past. We at some point we didn't had, so we forgot about them, and again we have them. So that's also something which we can show to the system. Not everyone would like to look here in the tell me and try to find something. So that's and that's what you also can think of when you are doing the front page and profiles for your users. Okay, I will back to the presentation. So the next thing is that we not all use the same language. What does it mean? Sometimes we use different word for different things. In SAP, for example, for items which are for something which in Business Central is called items, they use name SKUs. So if you will have mixed users from SAP and Business Central, they need to find a common language, right? But you can help them with that. I don't know how it's named in finance operations. Someone can tell me. So there is a really easy trick which you can use. That when you try to find something, you can put additional searching terms, so synonyms for such word. For example, here we have assets, and we call them assets because most of our users call them assets. But if you will try to find equipment, it also will find you the correct page and correct task in the system. Also, this build the credibility of your software, right? So that you know how your users work, and even if they work this way or other way, they will find and do in the system what they should do. Another topic here is which Business Central helps us a lot, but I think this topic is also not only for ESVs but also for normal functionality. I've seen a lot of solutions which are missing the tooltips because or help because they are for the specific customer, and in fact, I'm against that rule. You always should think and write the right help and give it in the system for your users. It will help you in a lot of things. For example, your users which are using your software will be more independent and will be able to find the solution without bombing you with emails and phones for the small things. And Business Central allows us to have this on many levels, and there are 3 levels. I would say one is the field level, and you can see it here on the tooltips. Maybe I will just switch to system back again, and I will just try to find it. Just give me a second. I will just go from here. So one of the level which you have is, as I said, on a field. Let's give him a second. So for each field, you can decide the special information about what is going on with this field. So if someone will just be blocked about what this field is doing here, sometimes even developers or consultant doesn't know why this field is there after a year. So it's also good for them. But you can see, okay, it makes more sense just not just specify actual expense line cost. It will not give you a lot, but if you know that, okay, it's in local currency, is for expense and is posted expense and as purchase invoice, it gives you even more if you don't know the system, hopefully. The second level, which is that you can have help for whole page. I don't know if this one will work. I hope no, but for each page you can decide also. Maybe I will just try to go here and try to find a better one. Yeah, so as you can see, it's automatically move you to the specific websites where you can find the help, right? So it also gives that you are driving your users, you are helping them with everything, and they can learn more about your solution, right? And someone can say, yeah, but it's only for the add-ons for the system. I think not, right? It should be, you are preparing some documentation, you are giving the documentation for users, so why you cannot just put it in some help online, even if it's just for this company behind some password. That also will help you. And the third one solution which can bring you is the product videos, right? So you can also embed the product videos directly in Business Central, right? So as you can see, I even don't need to go somewhere to see something about this, what I would like to show or what I would like to learn, and that also gives you users more experience and more better view of your functionality. So and again, is it only for ESVs? No, it's sometimes you are just doing some recordings. Even now we are doing a recording, right? So why we cannot record functionalities and also show it to users after a year, or for new users, that will be a lot of help. Even if, for example, your customer can prepare such. When I was the end user, we also were involved in the process of helping, doing the documentation, doing the training for users. That also can be directly in the system. Next one, I think the best functionality is that it cannot be recognized. That's why I said it's in the standard. If you will look on the standard Business Central pages and you will see functionalities which we have, you will not see the difference, right? So that's something which should be followed when you are doing a development, when you are doing also design for the functionality. And example is journals. So there is a specific schema for journals. You always have a journal template, journal batch, and journal lines in a system, and journal and then register. And even if not all of that functionality will be used by users, you should combine, and this is should be exactly the same. Why? Even because when users will try to find journals in Google, Business Central journals in Google, they will find Microsoft documents, and if they will find exact information about journals, they will know how to use your functionality without additional training, right? Also, from my perspective, when we are doing an ESV solution, is we don't need to train our partners. They just, when I say to them journals, they know how it should work, right? So they don't expect something totally different, which again builds credibility that we know what we are doing. Proper sorting on the page. There is also a small thing, in fact, but gave us the let's say, small issue or small request from one of our customers. He said, yeah, but there was a functionality in the system which was working only on the last record on the page, was canceling something. That's why it was blocked to do it for previous records. And he said, can you do it more useful? We said, and when we start digging why he wanted to have it more useful, was that we forgot about page sorting, and we should put it at the end, at the top of the page, instead of putting it at the bottom of the page, right? So for very small trick, it was exactly fixing for him, or giving him a better experience when he just get proper sorting. He could do it by himself, but in this fact, we forgot about this, and we just fix that very easily, just one line of code. Then proper naming of pages and reports. So there is a convention in Business Central how to name the pages, and it should work exactly the same, right? So that still someone is using the same system, not the add-on in the system. The same for the fields. Example is description and name field, and sometimes it's called description, sometimes it's called name, but it depends on the page where you are using that. So that's why also it's important. And about the pages also, I will just again switch to the system. For example, customers. We see the list of customers, right? And most developers is using this way. Most customers are using this way. But we also should think that, okay, it gives us possibility to do it a different way, right? And you can see normally you can see here also the information, the photo of the person. But I don't know if anyone is doing that. Maybe only Microsoft, but more and more users are using it this way, and we also should think what fields we should put here, right? So with this. And this I hope I can show you on our, and it's look exactly the same. Even oh, I have a page, right? I have a picture. So, but we also needed to think what we should put here. And now when we have, this is exactly why I put it in the presentation to not forget, is we don't think that users can use this page this way. And because of that, some functionality which is later, integration with Teams in this particular case, will fail, and your users will not see the same as they would see in the standard, right? And they will see something totally different. So that's also important, that you should think as a user, you should think about the different using of the system, different views. As you can see, it's even more views here, and you can just choose it as you wish. The same is for the control add-ins. I heard that in finance operation you can embed something like that, and in Business Central you can do the same. So we have something which is called control add-ins, and not many developers know. That's why I also putting it here always, that there is a special guide which colors you should use. Right, and users which are using your software, they shouldn't see like pink color. Sorry for that, but in this case, right, they should see the colors which are used in Business Central. And again, I will try to go back and show you our asset tree, which we did. And as you can see, when you are using, it has the same palette of colors, right? So it's of course, experienced users or experienced developers and consultants will see something is wrong here. It's not standard Business Central, but at least it's not screaming that it's not Business Central, right? So it's just inside in Business Central, and people don't need to see it as a totally different software. That's something which I had a lot of problems. So I also put it here that when we designing a pages, it's matter what you are putting on this page. You should think what exactly users will use, and also should allow them to use it in the proper way and not a jump between different topics, right? So, for example, try to follow the pattern what, when, and who. So group the fields in the correct order, and then it will be easier for user to fill that. Also, we have actions, and we should think which actions should be promoted, which action doesn't need to be promoted. So in the system, again, if I will just go back here, I will just go to the standards on page customers. So we can decide if the actions should be in the in promoted or report or new document, customer, and so. But also we have here information about more options, and if you can see, there's a much more options here, right? So we should think where we should put them. Also, which actions we should use, right? We should follow those which are which means something to the system. They have the same name, so why not? And the next thing, maybe again in the system, is that something which is in the system from many years, I believe from 2009, and which is called importance of the fields, which you can see on the card. Hopefully, when it will, my internet will again start working properly here. Can you open yourself, please? Oh, so. We have something which we can decide which fields should be shown on the page or which are not so important for the users, right? And that's great because we also don't need to show everything, because maybe it's not valid or it's not used every day, but it's important. Like, for example, last modified date. At the first look, you don't see that, right? But when you just you will just expand it, you can see that. And that's also something which we should think what gives the most value for the users and what means something to the users and what they should see on the page. The same, we can add the fields which have highest priority, right? So even if I don't see all pages on that, I can see that here, right? And also we should think what fields we should show them. As I said, I know that is from 2009 in the system, but how many times we forgetting to fill that and we just showing everything, right? So that's also something which I would like to just point that it's good to look. Okay. We use phones and tablets. Some of you may be even using it at this moment, and so the users, right? So why we only focus on one client in the when we are doing development? That's something which I must say I also focus on one client, and then it's turned out that we have more clients, and that's also look different in the system, right? So I will try to show you again. It's that hopefully I will be able to show you. Give me a second. See, that's the same view which you've seen on the we call it web client. In past we had only Windows client, but this is the same view which you have seen here as a technician on the main page, right? So it's different, right? So we should think of it how users will use our functionality, if they will use phone or they will use tablet and so on. And I don't know if I have tablet view. I had it somewhere. Look, it's the same view again, looking totally different, right? So we also should think of it, right? And then something which my product owner is always pointing to me. And why I said you can be surprised. When we first developed the functionality for the Windows client, we said, wow, it's great, looking very nice and so on. And we open it on tablet and it's turned out that we don't have this menu on the left side. It was very easy to fix, right? But that's why I'm saying, try to think as a users, but also think they will use many devices for your software, right? Don't limit them. Think about that, right? Backing, oops. Okay. The previous presenters tell a lot about the Power Platform, and I think that's also something which we as Business Central users and developers also should think, is that can we use a Power Platform in doing a designs, doing the functionality, and we should think who will be a recipient of the functionality and who will maintain the functionality, right? Someone said before citizens, right? And that was a really nice word. And exactly, not everyone know how to develop something. And sometimes even with maybe I had this discussion a lot with some developers, and they hate me because I really like not doing development if I don't need to do the development. And even they said performance. Well, I want to have control. I want to have performance, but maybe that's not the way we should think. We should think how easy it will be maintained later, right? And how easy it will be to use or to give it to the users and change it. Example is FTP integration, and that's something which we always developed in Business Central directly for years, right? But why not use the Power Platform now and Microsoft Power Automate for that? It's much more easier, and maybe that's enough for user, right? Or the customer. Also, we getting this. I put this slide because that's something which I cannot show you. Unfortunately, it's already in the Teams, but I cannot just that show you yet. Is that we getting the tool for the integrations with Teams, and we should remember about this. That the Teams integration is great. The Teams is great. We're using Teams right now, and more and more companies are using that. Even company, my wife's company didn't use it before, and they start using it. Then they added Trello. They added more and more additional things. And at some point, great that Microsoft is giving us this opportunity also to show it in for Business Central, and you can see card details and also this one which I showed you previously, the page, the link preview it's called. So it's also nice to think. Again, next thing which I want to say, so how to get to this point that we know how to develop something to have a better user experience. First, we need to get known what common users for Business Central or for any other ERP are doing, and that's the first step. And the second is what my specific users will do for my specific functionality. They will use that, and I'm really glad that again Microsoft is helping us here, because they really invest in the telemetry. And I really like the topic, and the team there also is great and really passionate about this. And some people may say, yeah, but you want to spy the users. That's totally wrong and totally different purpose, right? So what I want to have is I want to learn about my users. I want to learn how they are using the functionality, not to spy them what they are putting there, but to learn how they want to use it. And when you have a Business Central online with the Prem version is a little different. You can, for example, get information how your page was open. So it gives you, if someone is changing your page, that there is a way of opening page in the design mode and personalize mode, and you can get this information from the telemetry. What gives you the information that someone is designing your page? Each user is designing your page. It means that you did something wrong and they are using it totally different than as you were expecting. So maybe it's good to reach to them and get their experience, talk with them how they are using it, because maybe we have totally different view on something, and it may happen that they have better view than us. And the second is we can get information how they got to the page, right? So we can see the whole flow, which pages the user needed to click to get to this specific page. And from new version 17.1, I think, we will also be able to see which actions they used in the page. And that also gives us a lot of information, because first of all, we can see if our flows is okay and we put everything in proper place, that they didn't need to go for 10 different places just to get to one which we want they will go the first place. So we're saving their time. And the second is that we can focus on the functionality which matters for users, so they are useful from that slide which you remember. And because maybe we need some functionality, but we don't need to focus on that functionality so much. So that's why it's so important. Also, fact boxes. We can know that if someone is right side, we see in the information about it, and we can learn if someone is using those fact boxes, right? Or they are just giving nothing to the users, and we should remove them even because they are totally not using it, and then even is something which they don't like. And that's an example when I joined this team, and we had something which really pushed me to start also working with this extension which we are doing. Is we get I get such quote from now my boss, then not my boss, that we have a complex solution. It's great, but we want that users will start in 15 minutes. Right, especially in other ERPs, but even in Business Central, can you imagine that you will start working in 15 minutes after installation, right? So including everything. So we find out in our team at least 4 challenges. I can put 5th there here. The first one is that the setup in the system is spread over the system, right? So even finding everything what you need to put is giving a lot of time. The second is that some setups need to be done in the correct order. If you will do one setup, then you cannot do another, and so on. So it must be in the correct order. Otherwise, it will take more time and so. Third one is putting a data in the system also take time. So it takes more time if you just need to type every time, for example, payment term 14 days, 21 days, and so on, right? So that's the third thing. And the fourth one is the data migration takes also time. And even if we will exclude the preparing the data for migration, what about giving some place where to put the migration, to put the data? And that's also was something which we needed to think how it will work, right? So that's something which is called power of assisted setup. Assisted setup is something which I really love, and I really like that we have it in the system, and that's the place where we can have everything in one place, right? And it's also allows me to track if I completed this setup or not, right? And the last thing is that you can embed the help and videos there, and so someone who is doing the assisted setup, he just can click read and it will be open the page, and or click video and will see and do this and to see how he should do this this one. A second one is we have guides. We have multiple stages guides, so we can have guide user, and I will even switch to the system just to show you that. So we can have multiple guides, which that's the assisted setup, and I will just open maybe standard guide, but I also can show it our guide. And where is it? For example, setup emails. So we can guide step by step. We can guide a person to do the setup in the system. We even go much further than this this standard one. And guides also have a next possibility. There is a migration business data, right? So when I will just go with this guide, I will get information. I see Tomasz, so I have 5 minutes. So it will automatically export me the Excel, right? And I can just fill this Excel and that's all, right? So it's also those are predefined Excels which you developed, in fact, but they are using the standard functionality, right? So when you go next, you will be prompted to import the Excel, and you can just migrate data as you really easy want, right? And I will not import it because we will spend some time, but. And the last thing which I want to show you is here, and I will try to show you in the system as well, is this what I said, we have a data which sometimes we need to import, need to fill again and again. So what we came up is that we know that our extension which we have can be used by multiple companies, multiple industries. So first we're giving him the list of the proper setup which they want to use, and when they do that, we give them we call the Azure function technically, and Azure and it's go to Azure Blob Storage where we have all the setups, and we get information, okay, which setup you would like to have. So then when they choose that setup, right, so this is the lower part, we export the proper file with the stream and import it directly to Business Central, and we are using the standard functionality there. So just switch back to the system. How is look for the user? It's very easy, right? So the first, I already did that setup, but first they will get the list of the industries which they can use. So, for example, a general one. And then when they will guide to this setup, right, they will just be able, for example, to see all the statuses which we have. And as you can see, it's not data yet in the system. It's just information. What is the proposal for you, my dear user? You can modify it, you can delete it, you can just accept what we propose to you. And when they will apply the data, they will just get information about those statuses in the system, right? So it takes 2 minutes to just do the setup, right? So yeah, so that's helping users to start with the system, and really we had such proof that it's 15 minutes for some companies. All right, that was everything what I wanted to show you. One more time, you can find me on my blog. You can find me on also doing the hackathon for Business Central. If you have any questions, of course, now please let me know. But if you would like to contact me, there's also an email which you can contact me, and also you can find me on Twitter and talk about Business Central and other things as well. So, Tomasz, I think that's all what I wanted to show you. I hope you enjoyed that.